Hello, so I'll unplug the headphones in a minute because it's a bit distracting having this do that while I'm going to talk. But as you can hear, there's the IMD-5. Now, a bit of a problem. This was meant to come as a complete kit. I've only literally got the counter at the moment, but the seller said they've posted the box of all the accessories under a different tracking number. So as long as that turns up all right, that's fine. But yeah, IMD-5 is cool, but I'm sure a lot of you know what this is. It's basically the updated DP5 series. So I've got its internal check source giving a reading there. I think if I go to the times 10 scale, it's about 10 millirontgen. Sorry, 10 millirad, because this uses rads, doesn't it? Not rontgens. So let's see. I think that stops about 1 normally on here. So what you do is you times that number by 10 because we're on the times 10 scale. So between 1, oh, it might be a bit closer to the 12 by look of it, or the 1.2. Yeah, 1, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8. Yeah. So that's probably closer to 12 millirads. Also, it's got the light up screen, and it's got the really cool glow in the dark bit, which I don't know how well you'll be able to see on here. But so I'd have to flick the light off. But it has got the really cool glow in the dark backlight on this. But again, it's not that easy to see unless you've got a bright light shining on it. Wow, you've got 230 counters, Enzo. So what, you like me collecting masks just for counters? All right, Templar. We won't go into politics on here just because slagging other people's countries off is a really shit thing to do, so we're not going to do it. Too much, Neum, too much. Yeah, there's the backlight button, which is this one. But like I said, it has a really cool glow-in-the-dark screen. The issue is, obviously, with the light on, you can't see that. Yeah, it's because I'm streaming in the afternoon. The stream's title isn't about coronavirus. But yeah, people are panic buying toilet paper again in the UK. So the shit's going to hit the fan, I imagine. You know. Doo-hoo-hoo. Also, interestingly, the clicking noise is different on the range switch. So... Well, the Geiger counter sound, that's like the classic Geiger counter sound. Yeah, let me flick the light off anyway so you can see the backlight on the screen because it's pretty cool. If I had a torch handy, I could show you that, but let me just flick it off for the moment. Then I'll flick the ceiling light off. And there we go. It's probably not glowing all that well, sort of there. If I put a light on it for a moment, and then I'll flick this desk lamp off. So what I'm just going to do is get this to absorb some light. There we go. Now flick it off, and that should be glowing pretty well. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Richard, it's been windy here and cooling down a bit, so I've got my hoodie on today because it's actually, you know, not hot weather for once, which is nice. For me, it's nice because I prefer cold weather to hot weather because, as I've probably said loads of times before, when it's cold, you can just put extra layers on. When it's hot, you can't do anything. Yeah, isn't the backlight, Ivan, on this one just basically one where you can literally take a little bit out and get to the bulb, rather than, for example, dismantling the entire Geiger counter to get to the bulb? Because, yeah, that's the thing I like with the British, sort of as retro as they are, like the Mark II Radiac and the MD-3, that the bulb is literally on like a separate screw, so you just undo it and then you can swap the bulb. As long as it's airtight, the Jackal, yes, it should pull air through. The easiest thing, James, is take a photo of it, put it on an image sharing website, and then see if people can ID it for you. All right, Steve. Yeah, like I said, when all the kit comes for my IMD-5, I'll be quite happy with it. Just at the moment, the annoying thing is obviously I'm waiting for all the case and the probe, like, yeah, not the probe, like the wand for holding a probe on. But yeah, the IMD-5 is essentially just a better version of the DP5. It's main thing I like with this, actually, to be honest, is the bigger screen, because DP5s by comparison have a much smaller display. Because obviously this takes up like half the unit. With the DP5, it's kind of like that size. Big control switch as well. It's easier to do. Like we said, backlight. That's the reset. They're easy enough to press. It's got the strontium-90 source in the probe as well. The probe is very similar to the DP5 probe, actually. I'm not sure if it's actually the exact same probe. Actually, that looks a bit different now. But, yeah, this one uses C cells, Steve. So the good news is, unlike the older Soviet Geiger counters, this one, literally 2 C cells. There you go. So yeah, the battery cover should be coming with the full kit for it when that arrives. The M50 is comfortable if you get in your size. It's quite a lightweight mask. But yeah, the like I said, this is essentially just like the DP5 series of Soviet and Russian Geiger counters, just better. That's interesting, Ivan. So back then it was just like the professional one, and now it's just the one that a lot of countries carried on using because it was better than the DP5. I answered you already, Eric. Don't keep spamming a question when I've answered it. But yeah, so for the people that don't know, if I just get it up, this is like the DP5 series. So as you can see, it's a much smaller screen on it. Smaller control switch as well. Obviously, the DP5V is a better comparison to that IMD-5 because they're both the green plastic ones. But yeah, I really like that IMD-5. It's very easy to use. I'd probably say if you can get one for a good price, it's a very good like retro style Geiger counter. Because it can do beta and gamma and everything. Yeah, because Corona. And we're going into a second wave now, so the masks are going to go up in price. How cool. Do you like the A4? I like the A4 a lot. Right, the person who's asked a question 3 times in a row after I've answered them goodbye, learn to listen. Let me look up all of those, and Ivan. Although sometimes when you search on Google, you don't really get results because I'll probably just get you later on to post some pictures of each of them, because annoyingly trying to look them up on is the IMD-21 though, the IMD-21B, that looks like a modern kind of replacement for one of those in terms of how it looks. Because I've just spotted an IMD-21B, and that looks like kind of a digital vehicle meter, which is pretty cool. What type of mask, Martha? Because if you've got a free mask, it might just be like a dust mask. Ah, thank you, Ivan. That's interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, it definitely reminds me a bit of those sort of meters or how the probe's attached to it. All right, thank you, Alex. I would not be drinking this early in the day. So a random guy gave you mask from his shed. That doesn't sound weird at all. But the thing is, if it's a proper respirator, just do the normal sort of airflow check. So that if it's like a little fabric mask, do the thing where you try and blow out a candle or like a lighter. Why did you put kitchen towels in your toilet, Marcus? Have you run out of toilet paper because of the panic buying? Yeah, as I already said, amazing videos. It's an IMD-5 Geiger counter. If I put the probe back into the strontium 90 position. All right, yeah, so you've just been a retard. Yeah, that's the merch. See, you can literally see it right below the video. Yeah, I'm finally wearing this again because the weather is cool enough that I can wear a hoodie, because obviously during the summer you don't want to be wearing a hoodie indoors. Yeah, like I said, I do like this Geiger. It's just a bit annoying at the moment that I'm having to wait for all the other bits to come for it, because I thought they were all going to come together, but apparently not. So when that all comes, that will be good. But yeah, that's all right. Remind me to do it, Henry, once the stream ends, because I'm actually about to do it now. Like this morning, I was just checking on my phone quickly before I went out to post Marcus's and the Hype's parcels. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how this cable all goes properly in there. Does the cable go in first, like with the DP5? That is the question. Yeah, I reckon it does that. And then this bit goes like that. I mean, I could definitely do this neater, but this is at least not got a hanging out probe now. And just unplug the headphones. Is the headphone jack the same size as the what's it one? Or is it a slightly different size? I think it is the same size, isn't it? Yeah, it's the exact same size as the old DP5 connector as well. I've got a few of those headphones now then. Well, you can just put a little piezoelectric speaker on them. Oh yeah, Ivan just said headphones are the same. All right, Joe Mama, but as always, never looks as good on video as in reality. So basically today I'm going to edit the video together for that to stick on, I think, for Sunday, and then I'm going to get a video filmed of the Taiwanese mask Marcus sent me for Wednesday. I think that's how I'm going to edit them together. What did he say? I will do some more of, like, the wall tapestry things and all those. It's just generally because you have to do all the Teespring designs individually unless you want them not to be good. Because the problem is with Teespring, right? Say I design a hoodie and then it says you can also copy this design onto like t-shirts, jumpers and all that. If you do that, it misaligns them. So when I do them, I go onto each one individually to size it properly. So, it actually fits the thing you're meant to be putting it on. I've already filmed the night vision video, Shut on Fire. But I said that it's annoyingly that's really difficult to do comparisons because lots of night vision units don't show up properly on the phone or like a camera. The IM-101 is one of the few night vision devices I've got which is actually good to film through with a camera because of how big the back lens is and how flat it is. So you can literally just put a camera snugly up to it. You can get good stuff. Yeah, the easiest one I've got to record through is either the Night Fox or this one because they just record onto themselves and you take the footage off of a USB. I said, obviously, this is a flare rather than, retro night vision. But groovy. Let's change the color palette. I mean, this is classic flare, where I'm just glowing white. Then what other ones are there? There's Black Hot. There's hottest bits of orange. Different degrees of glowing orange. That one, which is kind of like purple and orange. Lava, that's quite a good one. Rain's quite good. Color Wheel. I think Color Wheel's the Predator one. Yeah, then we're back to the start. Oh, this one, Lewis. This is a Flare TK Scout. I don't know if this is like an outdated unit now and they do better ones. But yeah, let me look for you, Lewis, and see how much these are, because I know with these are like the most basic of the good flare models, like, not the really cheap ones that they're pointless to get. But you can get quite good mobile phone flare units now, which I think are much cheaper. Like they clip onto a phone and then they. All right, cheers, John. But yeah, it's I just like I'm saying. But for most people, if they play with my flare, they're like, oh, it's like Predator. I mean, modern kids would be like, oh, it's like the Call of Duties. But yeah, for older people, it's cool, it's Predator. But yeah, let me have a look. Flare TK Scout. Can you still buy them, and how much do they cost? Yeah, they still make them. They're about the £500 to £600 mark. I have a feeling, though, Lewis, with flares, you can actually get the same model as the Scout cheaper if you buy ones in a different series. They do. It's the exact same spec. So I think they do one that's like an ocean variant of it. Right, on eBay at the moment, most of the Scouts are like 600 to 900 quid. So that's overpriced. But yeah, you can get the Ocean Scout, which I think is identical to the TK Scout, just it's got a grey outside bit, not a green one. And they're 400 odd quid. Because I think originally I was going to get the Ocean one rather than the TK Scout, but then I had like I managed to get the TK Scout I think for like half the price because I bought one where the box was damaged, but like the unit itself was fine, so it ended up being like 300 to 400, not 600 700. Yeah, these are the entry model flares, Lewis, as in they're very low resolution. So these are fine if you're looking at stuff up close. The issue you'll find with these is if you're looking at a field at night, let's say you've got a rabbit 100 yards away, it will just be a tiny glowing dot because it's too low res to work out what it is. But the problem is with flares, as the resolution goes up, the price goes up really quickly. So if you got the model, I think that's 360p, not 240p like this one, the only difference literally being the resolution, you're going to pay like £1,000 more just for like that slightly higher resolution. And by the time you get to like the 720p style flare cameras, I think I'm looking at like 10 to 20 grand. I've not really used it yet, Ivan, because I've not been away from the house. So You know, not very far anyway. As soon as I go somewhere a bit further, I'll actually try playing about with that. But, yes, Martha, basically how it works is just like with anything online that no, not for this one, Amazing Vids, if you're listening. I was saying if you buy the high resolution ones, that's when the price goes up. A TK Scout is like £400 to £600 depending on how many are in stock. But yeah, it's like I'm saying, but if you buy literally this unit but higher resolution, that's when the price goes up to silly money. It's like a lot of things like cameras and technology. It's where the price, you know, the entry model ones are actually quite affordable in comparison, but as soon as you start going up, the prices just go silly. That's strange, because I'd have thought America would have a lot less rules with stuff like that, but here you can use them for whatever you want. But hello to everybody if I've not said hello to them, because obviously if I'm talking about something, I sometimes get a bit distracted. But yeah, the nice things with these, at least, is you can record to an SD card. Well, it doesn't record to an SD, sorry, it records to internal memory. So then, where you charge it via USB, you can also unload the video and photos. All right, Mike? But, yeah, let me flick this one back on, and then I'll try and get out the way so you can see what it looks like if you're just looking at random things in a room. Right, it's on white hot at the moment, which is like classic flare. Let me take the eye cup off, because that would help for filming stuff. There we go. Right. So if I get out the way, you're probably not going to see much there at all because it's just literally looking at a wall. Let me change to a different color palette and see if there's anywhere. But yeah, like an actual wall, you're not going to see much. Obviously, I show up quite well, but like a solid wall is not going to look very interesting. But let's say I get this here. If I pan that around the room, it's just recalibrating itself. You will actually be able to see some stuff because so like there should be, if I can get it in frame over there. All right, see that bit that's glowing? That's a candle. So I've got a candle lit in a jar there. So that's the hot spot over there. You can see where the ceiling light was on earlier because that's still warm. You can generally see the shape of the room all right with a thermal camera because of how heat sort of sticks to stuff. But also, like I said, it's mostly for spotting people and animals and things like that because we're pretty bright on it, as you can see. It's lower frame rate, John, than real life, but there's no delay unless it calibrates itself while you're using it, because it recalibrates, say, if you look at something really hot and then go to a cold thing, so all the colors, you know, are sensitive again. But yeah, although it's lower frame rate than obviously what we see, I think it's only like maybe 15 frames per second or something. So like if you film a video of it, you can see it's quite like jerky motion. But in terms of delay, there's not a delay, no. So if you pan it around, you're still seeing at like real speed. It's just lower frame rate. Yeah, this is a proper thermal camera. If you buy like the fake kids type ones, yeah, that it's like buying kids night vision. It's not, you know, it's like those green glasses with a flashlight on them. Like, yeah, proper night vision is very, very different and expensive stuff. Oh, for looking for cold spots and that, Steve. I haven't watched that video yet, Lewis, but I've looked into it. All right, see you, Ivan, if you're off. You can probably also, I mean, you can see from a distance if somebody has corona and they've got a fever with a flare, but only if they've got a fever. Otherwise, they just look normal. You could probably see if somebody's technically dead, because you'd see that they're room temperature, not warmer than the room. I think, Lewis, weirdly, that they were actually a proper Gen 1 unit, if I remember right. Like, they weren't all that awful, from what I've heard. I think they are, like, just a very basic Gen 1 unit. That's very interesting, Steve. Which gas mask should you buy? What can you afford? What's your price range, and whereabouts in the world are you? Because that will affect. Right, Radiac Maniac. I've been up for a bit because I had to post some parcels earlier, so I had to get up to do that. €40. Maybe you can get like one of those Sperian masks, whatever they're called, but that'd be, unless you're buying some really old surplus, that'd be about it at the moment because of Corona prices. Oh, you had a good dream last night, Mike. What was that about then? Outside my house, rocket was fired, and a few minutes later, a nuclear bomb exploded in my house. I stood outside watching the mushroom and felt the wind. Is that a good dream? That sounds a bit scary, but yeah. I can't remember if I had a dream last night, but a couple of nights ago I had a nightmare with sort of, I think I said to you in one of the Twitch things, like Buffalo Bill sort of chasing me about with his night vision on and the skin suit. Well, you can stay out past 10 p.m, can't you, Shed on Fire? It's just pubs and all that have to close. It's not really a curfew, because curfew technically means you have to be locked inside. So it's not a real curfew, but yeah, it's a bit silly in my opinion, because people, if they want to go out and drink, will just drink earlier. But it means if you want to socialise with people, like, and you've worked a long day at work, you can't really do it, can you? Depending on what shifts people work. It sounds like it's raining now. Yeah, that will wind, but yeah. So you even dream about radiation, Radiac Maniac. An S10, they're pretty overpriced at the moment, so like 100 to 200 euros, I'd guess. Like saying they shouldn't cost that much, but the issue is due to Corona, the prices have gone silly on them. Yeah, exactly, Lewis. See, this is the problem, isn't it? People are still going to socialise and risk infecting each other, but of course the government wants to make more rules to pretend they're doing something. I think we're just going to end up with a national lockdown at this rate. Seeing as yesterday we had the most coronaviruses recorded in this country, didn't we? And I know we've got more testing now, but still, it was like we had something like 6.6 thousand cases. Well, if they are actually modern NATO masks, they would be good for like preppers because they protect you from chemical weapons and all that if you had the right filters for them. But bear in mind, just because it's a new mask doesn't mean it's all that good. Look into like reviews of masks and see which ones have the features you want, because obviously some industrial masks I'd say are better than some military masks if they're well made, and good panoramic sort of visors on them. Yeah, amazing vids. YouTube won't let you post links. Don't ask me personal questions, Emu. Some people know what is on here, but I don't like to say anymore just because you get a load of weird people that try and get all your personal info. That say, like, where do you work? Like, what time of day do you go out? All this sort of weird stuff, So I just don't answer those anymore. Well, I will say at the moment I'm very annoyed because work has massively underpaid me for the last month I've worked, so I'm having to email like the payroll people now and say sort it out. We'll just say I'm a cleaner, let's put it that way. I don't mean that in the sinister way, like I dispose of bodies or anything. I'm just like saying, that's all I'll go into, just so people don't start trying to figure out what companies I work for doing cleaning or whatever. And when it arrives, it will shake the universe. Traps for life. Have people watched the new Dune trailer? And like me, did you say, oh, this is shot for shot copying Lynch's Dune, but it doesn't look as good? Yeah, waste management, like Tony Soprano. But yeah, the problem with the new Dune is I'd like it to be good. I actually would, but there's a thing where they've side by side put the trailer next to Lynch's Dune and even that sci-fi series version of Dune, and this looks like the most bland version yet. And it's stupid because this obviously has the highest budget, I'd imagine, in comparison. But even like that sci-fi series version of Dune, the costume design was better. Even if, like they had no money for anything, they at least had like fancy looking costumes. In this, everybody's just wearing like grey. Oh, that's space feudalism, isn't it? Everybody wearing grey. Well, we don't really know yet, John, do they, until it comes out. But yeah, I mean, shot for shot, they've copied it. But then I imagine there'll be people saying how good this one is compared to Lynch's Dune. So, it's unfair. People are still too harsh on Lynch's Dune. They did the best job they could have done. I mean, the 3-hour fan edit is actually really good because the 3-hour fan edit basically takes all the stuff filmed from the TV cut of it and the film cut, and they edit it together as best as they could. Yeah, exactly, Mike. They've got all that cheap sort of Chinese airsoft gear, haven't they? Instead of proper still suits. I haven't looked into it at all, Riley. So it's going to be some shitty Call of Duty game. If you like Call of Duty games, you might enjoy it. I'm well past and too cynical for Call of Duty games. I'll probably see it when it comes out. I hope it's good, but I imagine I'll be disappointed like everything because I'm too cynical. Wow, 250 gigabytes. That's a waste of hard drive space. Imagine how much porn or whatever you could fit into 250 gigabytes. Yeah, exactly, Daniel, because they prefer using an IP that's already known, don't they? So basically they can spend less on advertising and like get more people interested about doing anything. Yeah, like I said, I've read the book a couple of times, Mike, so I'd be interested in seeing it, just how faithful it is to the book. But like I said, I'm one of those strange people that actually likes Lynch's Dune, even though I've read the book, where most people are like, oh, it's not truthful enough to the book, even though Frank Herbert said Lynch did a good job with it. So, Well, considering I've been showing night vision goggles this stream, you already know I own night vision goggles. I've played all of the Stalker games, except for Stalker 2, because it's not out yet. I've been mostly playing recently now. I've 100%ed the Command & Conquer remasters. I've been playing quite a bit of Terminator Resistance again. Because with Terminator Resistance, there's now like a really hard mode difficulty. It's quite well balanced. Because I completed the game on hard a couple of times before. But the fact now it's got, like kind of a survival hard mode. Not yet, Joe. They've only done so far Red Alert and the original one. What's the CVRT shed on fire? Let me Google it. I should know this. CVRT. Oh, what, like the armoured vehicle? Can you all chip in for my bunker, please? Because a vehicle like that would be expensive to run, but if I have a bunker, then, I can live in it. Yeah, it's good, isn't it, Lewis? I think Mike, if it's on sale on like PS4 at any point, should get it to stream it. But But yeah, Terminator Resistance, for those of you who haven't played it, it's basically like, it came out of nowhere, basically, where the developer that made it, previously the only game they were known for making was an awful Rambo rail shooter. And then they somehow come up with a really faithful Terminator game with kind of like good kind of Deus Ex-y elements in, you know, like where you can be quite stealthy or you can shoot other things. And the Terminators in it are like properly, like, you know, especially when you're playing on the hardest difficulty mode they added recently in a patch. You know, like the Terminators are fucking scary in a sense because they're not meant to be easy to kill. Yeah, if you want to support me, there's a Patreon link below, or you can do super chats. And yeah, basically at the moment, because I'm saving up for an ROC post, because I want to basically get an ROC post, renovate it, make it for almost like off-grid living, and then live in it quite a bit. Not necessarily all the year, but you know, just so I've got a property basically. That's basically what I'm saving up for now. So every time I basically get any pay come in from work or like YouTube or whatever, I'm putting like at least 50% of it into my bunker savings. Yeah, that's Terminator Resistance Templar, and it's actually really good. It's definitely worth playing it because obviously the gameplay is quite good. On the hardest difficulty, I was realizing it's actually taking me like 3 hours to do a single level because of like how carefully you have to play it. I'll see when they give me the tracking number, Radiac Maniac, but I'd hope it'd be quite soon because if they were both posted at the same time, one shouldn't take too much longer than the other unless one gets stuck in like air freight for ages. When Corona happened, Philip, my subs went up by like 20, 30k subs in a couple of months. Yeah, Mike, it's definitely worth getting. Like I said, just keep an eye on it when you can see the price for a good amount of money. At least I suppose with it being a PS4 game, you don't have to just digitally download it. You can actually buy it on disc, can't you? Because that's the thing, with it on PC, it's actually gone up recently because it's sold so well. So they've actually put the price up. Yeah, that will be the only good thing shed on fire for me about a second wave, will be that my subs will go up and I'll get my play button. Because, you know, obviously I'm not looking forward to a second wave because I drank way too much during the first wave and I never really touched alcohol too much before. You know, like every now and then I'd have a beer, but when the first wave happened, you know, I just ended up getting so bored I started drinking. And I'm still like struggling to cut down on it now because of, you know, how addictive it is. But apparently like about 20% of the country has got that exact same problem now, just due to boredom of lockdown or like stress of lockdown. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to a second wave for obvious reasons. You know, will I keep my job and all stuff like that? But you know, the only good thing I suppose for me about a second wave is, yeah, I might get more subscribers and therefore more money towards my bunker if lots of people are watching and either donating or just, yeah, watching. But why would the play button be radioactive? I put on the wall behind me, but I've got the bunker, it go in the bunker. Ah, right. The reason the seller said that was apparently because they'd had problems with customs. So when they were sending apparently the IMD-5s inside the box and everything, customs thought it was stolen military gear, which in a sense I guess it is, but a lot of it's been surplused anyway. So like customs were getting shitty and sending them back or like holding on to them, and the bloke had to like pay the like release fee. So he said what he's been doing now is sending the Geigers separately to the cases with all the accessories, because when he sends the case and accessories but without the Geiger and they don't care. So apparently that's the reason. But well, the Nixie tube clock, yeah, Hype sent to me. It's good, isn't it? I love Nixie tubes. All right, cool, Templar. Glad you enjoy it. Yeah, I think, Daniel, like a lot of those things, it's like with smoking, isn't it? If you've ever smoked, sometimes it's easier just to literally not get any more of something and then just go off of it for a bit. I mean, I know with alcohol you have to be very careful, don't you? Because cold turkeying alcohol, if if you're like a proper alcoholic. Thankfully, I'm not, in terms of how many units I drink. But I know, like, if you're an actual alcoholic and you give up alcohol, it can actually kill you, can't it? Or make you really ill because of, like, how the body reacts to suddenly not having it. But yeah, like, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm just saying, like, on certain days, I'm not going to drink. Or on other days, I'll say if I'm drinking, like, I'm having this much and then that's it. Because the problem I have, in all honesty, is once I've lost a bit of inhibition after drinking, my issue is then I'll say, oh, have a bit more, because the control, your like self-control goes at that point, doesn't it? Good for you, person with a name I have no idea how to pronounce, but like I know in like Islamic countries and that it's like haram, isn't it, and all that, but the thing is, like, everybody here drinks because we're kind of an island of inbred drunks, but the point is with it, it's one of those things where, like I've said before, out of all the things that are illegal substances in the UK, the reason alcohol is legal is fucking stupid, in my opinion, just because it is a lot more harmful than a lot of illegal drugs that are totally illegal. Yeah, well, Daniel, the only good thing about me drinking a lot recently is I'm actually putting on weight to a healthy degree, because with ulcerative colitis, I end up being like dangerously underweight because of, like how many calories you lose through basically diarrhea and stuff like that, and, like feeling ill and not wanting to eat. Right, Al Ryan, I'll try and remember that. But yeah, but the thing is for me that's actually helping, I said, because if I drink and I get hungry, I can actually eat bigger amounts of meals, and now I'm putting on weight. So I've got to like 70 kilos for the first time in my life. And it's obviously not all going as fat because I am exercising as well. But yeah, because the problem is, like, with my UC, if I get a bad flare up, I've sometimes dropped like 50 kilos. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it, Radiac Maniac? But again, the thing is, with stuff like that, I never judge the people who get addicted to stuff, but I will judge them on their behavior, So if they're horrible to other people or whatever because of an addiction, I've got no time for them. But I know lots of people that have had addictions to things that are really nice people, but, they do have a problem with the substance. Yeah, there was a bloke saying the other day, and I totally agreed with him, if the government wants to try and avoid a really bad, like, depression, recession, whatever, with Corona, they should just legalise everything and tax it. Think how much money that would bring in. And it'd be safe as well. Like, at least not drug gangs pushing it, organised crime kind of bullshit. If it was actually good quality stuff shed on fire, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because obviously the street stuff is very different than the pure substance. I mean, funnily enough, an opioid addict is probably less, let's say it was like they could get it legally, they'd probably be doing less harm to themselves than an alcoholic unless they actually died from an overdose. Because the thing is with opioids is if somebody, I know we don't want to turn this into a drug stream in case YouTube gets shitty about it, but basically in the good old days, and I say good old days like that, like the Victorian era, they actually used to cure alcoholics by getting them addicted to basically opium, because, opium, morphine, heroin, all that stuff. They preferred it to alcohol because it makes you feel better in terms of brain chemistry. It's actually less dangerous to you in general unless you die of an overdose. It's not saying it's a good thing to become addicted to it, but I could certainly understand people getting alcoholics off of alcohol by using opioids. But yeah, I agree, Lewis. I think it would do so much good for the economy, and stuff like, yeah, I'm sure there'd be people that would get addicted to stuff who wouldn't get addicted otherwise. If we are literally looking now, apparently, that 20% of people in Britain are now almost declared alcoholics due to the lockdown, with over drinking and like drinking every day and earlier in the day. I reckon that, yeah, legalizing a lot of drugs, if they're less harmful than alcohol, some people might switch from alcohol to them, and then that's still harm reduction, isn't it? It's a bit like people switching from smoking to vaping. I have no idea what you're on about. Person with a white picture, are they censoring you? Yeah, tobacco is a drug. I don't think anybody said it wasn't. Caffeine's a drug as well. Most people consume lots of caffeine, and they don't ever think that's a problem. Yeah, well, you're right, shed on fire, aren't you? Nicotine is the active bit in tobacco. Yeah, tobacco's the plant, yeah. Yeah, Mike wants them, but yeah. I think what they should do is just literally have, you can buy them however they want to do it to make it safe, and then they just put the warning disclaimers on them. This is how much is safe to take. You ideally shouldn't be taking it. I've not installed the contract tracing app yet because I'm waiting like a week to find out if there's any massive problems with it. Because as much as I'm in favor of actually using the app, because I would actually like to know if I need to isolate or whatever. The reason I've not got it yet is I'm very worried in the first week there might be a massive like data leak type thing, or some massive problem where it says you've been in contact even if you've not. But yeah, I'm waiting a week. I will use it, but I'm like waiting a week for them to iron out the worst faults or hear if there's any like problems with it, because I don't trust the government to actually do anything right at the moment. Yeah, Martha, one of my friends had like actual heart issues from drinking too many energy drinks, and I think he cut them out completely after that. He had like heart palpitations, and like he came quite close to dying from it. All right, you'll have to put your Spaziani on then, Mike, and you'll have to isolate them. You'll have to get like a riot shield and back them into a corner in case they coof on you. Oh, thank you very much, Doug. That will go towards the bunker when I actually get paid by YouTube this month, because that will probably be like near the end of October, but it'll be around my birthday then. Yeah, if it's an abusive person, Radiant Maniac is really bad, isn't it? Like I say, like, I know people that have turned into alcoholics and then are cunts to everybody. I think with alcoholics, or like just people, when people drink in general, I think you get people who are like friendly drunks and like angry drunks. And obviously, if somebody's an alcoholic, it's much better if they're a friendly drunk than an angry drunk. Yeah, I've had 2 kidney stones before shed on fire. I would not want any more, so I do not touch energy drinks. When I want caffeine, I just literally have coffee or tea. I find that's the most pleasant way of having it. Yeah, the problem is we don't know about how many people have reliable antibodies, though, do we? Do you want to hear something even more cringy and painful, Lewis? The second time I had a kidney stone, it was when I was in Finland, and I was on a bus. Now, thankfully, there was a toilet on this bus, but I missed a lot of the looking around Helsinki that day because I was literally, in agony, nearly passing out, no painkillers or whatever, on the thing. When I eventually got the kidney stone out, and the problem is with kidney stones, once you pass a kidney stone for like a day or two, you still have a horrible urge to urinate constantly, because it basically has done some sort of nerve damage, hasn't it, where your brain constantly wants to make you urinate, so you feel like, you've drank 10 litres of something, and you've... But the worst bit was when I finally got the kidney stone out, cut the end of my dick open. Healed, thankfully, but, yeah, not pleasant. It's just adds insult to injury, doesn't it, when it does something like that? You've been in agony from having the kidney stone, and then on the way out, it does as much damage as possible. Thankfully, when I had my first kidney stone, I say thankfully, it was where I was at home. I could go into hospital, and they gave me morphine. So at that point, I was just like, oh, that's all right. Drink lots of water, Gaming Wallaby. The best advice is just drink lots of normal, good water. Good old-fashioned water. Keeps your system flushed out. Yeah, it is injury to injury, but, No, one of my friends had an appendicitis, which was really close to killing him because it took him quite a long time to ID that was what his problem was. So he had to have his appendix taken out, but thankfully now I've still got my appendix. There's no problems with it. The Kremlin could definitely have been behind it, Hugo. I don't know, really. I don't know much about Navalny or whatever he's called, but I get quite suspicious of all the use of Novichok, where nobody talked about it before. Now all of a sudden it's Novichok everywhere and not a drop to drink. No, Henry, but if I was that person, I'd have probably killed myself at this point. Yeah, if it's literally like every few days you get a kidney stone, I'd be like, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, that's kind of my take on it, Lewis. You think, with how good they were at assassinating people in the Cold War, you'd think if the Russians wanted somebody dead, you'd be dead, like you say. It seems very strange they'd kind of do these botched poisonings that then just gets them more bad publicity. Yeah, water's good for you, TXE Gaming. Your mood will actually increase, because this is the thing I found funny, is quite often I don't drink enough water anyway. You know, like I think a lot of people, because unless I've got like a canteen or a bottle of water with me, I don't think to keep filling it up and drinking. But I've noticed if I drink a lot of water, I actually get in a much better mood, because I just think it keeps, you know, you quite alert and focused, and probably, I imagine your body releases endorphins if you're drinking enough water, because it's like a survival mechanism. Let's look at the disgusting pictures then, Henry. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely drink a lot of water when I go to bed, Joe Mama, because I have like a massive, I think, 2-litre water bottle that's next to my bed, and I fill it up every night with cold water, and then I drink quite a bit before I go to sleep. Does sodium actually help? Like salt sodium, does that actually help with kidney stones? I don't know. The most important thing is having a balanced diet, isn't it, with all these things? You don't want too much of anything, and you don't want really too little of anything unless it's a poison. Oh, you're all right, Templar. Yeah, extremely painful for you. But yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would not. Yeah, at that point, you'd probably just say cut my kidneys out, wouldn't you, and put some sort of artificial thing in. Did they actually say there was salt in it? Because at that point, it's just literally seawater, isn't it? Unless it's like not that much salt in it. Yeah, like I was saying, what did you say your name was? Ryan or something? A Ryan. I can't. Sorry, you have to say what your name was again, mate. But like I said, there's a lot of things, isn't it, where if you have it in good quantities, it's good. But the problem is, of anything, too much of anything can be bad for you. Ah, right. So yeah, they were literally being dicks. So yeah, buy more of this literal seawater so you get thirsty. Yeah, it's strange, Mike, isn't it? How, like, now you mention it, and you've probably said before that gout's quite similar to kidney stones, but knowing what a kidney stone is like, I can imagine how painful your gout is, you know. Al Ryan. Yeah. I probably forget that, but yeah. Al Ryan, yeah, thank you. I'll probably forget, but yeah, thanks for reminding me. It's nicer to actually say people's names and you know what they are. Did you have a nice Eid whenever that was? That was not too long ago, was it? Like a month or two ago? I know the problem was for like British Muslims over here when they had Eid recently was that a lot of it was lockdown, so they couldn't see their families and all that. Because, you know, I suppose that's quite sad, isn't it? I suppose it might be similar with us with Christmas coming up, that if there's a load of lockdown stuff, you can't see, you know, have a get together with all your family. It's a bit of a shame. All right, hello. How's Kansas today? What's your weather like? Yeah, well, it just got brought up. Screw tape, kidney stones just got brought up. We could talk about other horrible things if you like. Well, the Russians have rushed out a vaccine, Spooky, so it'll be interesting to see if that vaccine works properly. Yeah, there's a bit of rain and wind here today. It was quite lucky yesterday because when I went out to do the night vision video yesterday, it was actually dry today. I got my feet a bit wet because the field we went through, even though I was wearing proper walking shoes, it obviously got quite damp from all the rain. Piles. Thankfully, I've never had piles, Mike. I have no idea if it will snow or not, but I imagine we'll be locked in. Right, bye then. One of my friends has had it before, and he found it very uncomfortable. I think he couldn't sit down without it hurting him, actually. But, that was a proper question. Why did you time out, Henry? The M17's fine. I mean, it's a cheek filter mask. I'm not a fan of cheek filter masks, but the M17A2 is quite good. I think as soon as the stream ends, I'm actually going to get my big glass and fill it with water so I can remember to drink a load of water while I'm at the PC. No, sadly, I've never been in an environment with zero gravity. Sounds fun, but I've never been able to experience zero gravity like I think most people. All right, hope they carry on working, Daniel, because that sounds really bad what you've got at the moment. But yeah. So yeah, I guess they'll just have to keep giving you more and more antibiotics, won't they, until it clears up. But no, I've never gone skydiving. Skydiving is one of those things where I'm not sure if I'd want to do it or not. It's definitely in the list of things I'd consider, because there's some things like cave diving that are so on the nope end of things, I can't even see how you'd enjoy them. Skydiving, I could definitely see the thrill of it, but whether or not I'd want to do it, I don't know. Because I keep thinking of Blood Upon the Risers when I think of anything to do with like parachuting. If the probes run at the same voltage, it should be all right. Bear in mind, the CDV 700 though has that weird like neutral bit as well for the probe, where most Geiger probes are just positive negative, but the CDV has positive negative and a neutral or like a ground wire on the probe. Yeah, I'm just going to do it, Mike, because I think today I'll probably feel quite good if I just, don't drink too much coffee or whatever and just keep drinking water throughout the day. I mean, most days that would be a lot better than what I normally do. Well, I'm saying that I don't drink a silly amount of coffee, but, I think, yeah, in general, just drinking water is better for you, isn't it, than a lot of other stuff. A RM5, I've not heard of an RM5. I have an IMD-5 down there. What's an RM5, Geiger? Let me Google it. Oh, the rate meter. Yeah, the RM5. I've got loads of rate meters. Yes, I have got loads of rate meters. Weirdly, yeah. I don't have many probes them, sadly. I'd love one of the vintage old probes that actually they were designed to have with them. But yeah, I've basically got those, and I've given some to friends and things like that. But I've still got probably like 4 or 6 RM5s, whatever they're called. Yeah, rate meters. Don't know, Mike. I've been really tired as well recently, but sometimes with me it can be ulcerative colitis that makes me tired, because that's like one of the things that weekly I have like an NHS thing I have to fill out, and it says like what your symptoms have been like, and one of the major ones on there is you're like fatigue. So it says like, no, I've felt normal. It's like I've been tired, or I have missed like days at work, activities due to being tired. But yeah, in general though, my sleeping habits are quite strange at the moment, because I'm almost like nocturnal technically. Well, not technically, but as in if I could wake up and go to sleep whenever I wanted, and didn't have work sort of things to be getting up for, I would probably fall asleep, like 4 a.m. sort of time, and then get up sort of 3 p.m. sort of time. I'd basically be quite out of sync with what. Well, as I said, Joe Mama, for me, it's due to ulcerative colitis. I know exactly what causes fatigue for me, because it's a chronic condition I've had for years. Sounds good, Rich. They are comfortable, these hoodies. I think you'll find these really comfy. They're good hoodies. Yeah, but how do you know 2021 won't be worse, Templar? It's like the joke, what does a Soviet optimist say? Things couldn't possibly get any worse. Yeah, I imagine you can crash, can't you, en bloom, with like caffeine and sugar if you have too much of it, and then... Yeah, that's all right, Joe Mom. Like I was saying, if you don't know why, it might be definitely worth seeing a doctor, but for me, it's just... I think with ulcerative colitis, it's because like your body's damaging itself and then constantly repairing itself. You're tired because, you essentially want to sleep while your body repairs itself. That's a Soviet nuclear engineer that says that, Daniel. 3.6 Rontgen. Not great, not terrible. I don't know how much it would be to post to Canada, Radiac Maniac, but if I can work out what the postage would be, and assuming that I could actually post it, because the annoying thing with parcels is once they go over a certain size, you can't send them via like Royal Mail. You have to do a private courier and pay way more for it. But assuming that I could actually post a rate meter to Canada, I'd have to work out what the price of that was, and then it would be about £20 for the actual meter itself. So I'd probably assume the postage might be like £10 to £20 actually. So it'd probably be like £30 to £40. So whatever that's in Canadian dollars worth of money, I think, for a rate meter. You'd need to make a probe for it though, because it uses the old PET connector type thing. I've got some chamomile tea actually. I might make a cup of chamomile tea in a minute. Thank you for reminding me. When I drink some water, I'll make a nice cup of chamomile tea. Yeah, caffeine-free tea. I didn't even see the message. Okay, I'll see if I can find that, Mike. I still need to watch a few of the films you've recommended. Oh, is that northeast of the United States spooky? Because in the UK, in the northeast, I think it's rainy and cold, but I don't think it's hurricanes. Yeah, I take Rich. I take a really good multivitamin. Like there's a multivitamin I buy that's quite a good one. That in terms of it has literally like all the stuff in it. And then I take generally a couple a day at the moment because there's nothing in it that would be dangerous. If you took 2 or 3 of the multivitamins, like obviously if you took too many, it could be dangerous. But because of like Corona and all that, I want like more vitamin D and all that at the moment. So I need to watch the latest episode of The Boys, though, as soon as the stream finishes. Actually, as soon as the stream finishes, I need to get a video filmed or a video edited. One of the two. I'm cutting my hair tonight as well, so that's why I'm streaming at this time today, because it means like at 7 p.m. I can shave all my hair off, have a shower, and then masks will fit me comfortably again. And my hair won't stick up like that when I've been asleep, so... Oh, it's on Shudder, is it? I might be able to watch that just on Shudder. Let's open Shudder up in a tab. What did you say it was called? Host, did you say? I watched that Vivarium, as I said the other week. Host. Let me search, see if I can find it on here. Host, a Shudder original. Let's see. 6 friends get together during lockdown for their weekly Zoom call. It's Harley's turn to organise activity. Instead of a quiz, she arranges for a medium to conduct a seance. Bored and feeling mischievous, Gemma decides to have some fun and invents a story about a boy in her school who hanged himself. I won't read the whole thing, but is it that one, Mike? All right, cool. I'll watch that at some point then. Yeah, I've not cut my hair, and I think since August. I think I did it just before I went back to work, and I've not cut it since. It's been not dandruffy at the moment, at least, which is good. Because yeah, sometimes my hair is like really bad with dandruff, but my scalp's actually been pretty good at the moment. So you know, I've not had that reason to want to cut it, but you know, I do find it annoying when my hair gets longer just because of gas masks and everything else. No, I have not got cancer. See you, Hugo. Enjoy your lessons, or don't enjoy them, Radiac Maniac, whatever the lesson is. On Fridays, OK9, I normally stream a bit earlier if I stream, because I like to have a relaxing evening where I don't have to, you know, do a stream. But I'm also streaming earlier today because I was just saying I'm cutting my hair later on today. So, yeah, look how long it is next to my ear. Yeah, that's way too long. But yeah, so because I'm cutting my hair later, obviously need an hour to get that all properly shaved and have a shower and that and get all the loose hair bits off. Yeah, but sadly a lot of people don't actually listen to stuff like that, do they? That, oh, I've got a beard, no, I don't need to shave it. Like, to be honest, I need to make sure I shave more often just to avoid more, like, you know, not having stubble around here, but right, I'll get rid of that person being really weird saying, do you have cancer, or lucky you don't have cancer. Sounds like that being a dick. Let me look up 90s US male mustache. 90s US military mustache. I'm sure it actually probably has a proper name. But... there's loads of different style mustaches coming up when I search that. So I don't know which particular one you mean, but there's generally, if you look up a mustache guide, there's different names of them. Yeah, the scary thing with, I think, Corona emblem is the whole like long COVID thing, where some people have recovered, like for months, are having like, you know, horrible symptoms still, like not life-threatening ones, but ones that make them like extremely fatigued, or you know, like still constantly like coughing to the point they damage their throat and their lungs and that. All right, so yeah, it'd be cut to like there, would it? But yeah, obviously more of an angle. But yeah, I generally keep mine at this sort of bit because I just make sure it's even on both sides when I trim it. And I just use one of those detailed trimmers to sort of go like that and that, so I don't get random hairs that are longer than others. And I also like having a bit of gap above my top lip before the moustaches, just so when you eat, you don't have to wipe as much like food off your facial hair. That's a horrible thing for people with big beards, isn't it? That the fact that they've probably got all sorts of like crumbs and things growing in their beard. What's a monovirus then, Daniel, if I'm being really stupid? No, no, Hitler's moustache was not like that. Hitler had a moustache that was literally like that. I have no idea if Penshaw Monument will be busy. When you say a brand new GP5, do you mean an old GP5, like all the GP5s, or do you mean the current production shum, whatever it's called, that a Russian factory still makes somewhere? New old stock, so yeah, just a typical GP5. Infection rates are going up again, Black Nash. I reckon we're going to have another national lockdown again soon. Yeah, that's the technical name for it, isn't it, Rich? Toothbrush moustache. But no, I definitely would not have that moustache. All right, you mean a GP? I was a bit confused. I was like, why wouldn't you use a filter? But you mean, yeah, use an old asbestos filled. So, to be honest, the GP5 filter, I think, is only like 1% asbestos in the particular thing. But it's still not something you want to risk breathing in. Apple face mask, right? Is this as in Apple that makes the phones and like the iPads making an overpriced mask, or is it something completely different, Tony? But let me Google it now. I'll finish the stream in about 5 minutes. Apple face mask. Oh, Apple has revealed its own face mask. Oh dear. How much do they charge for literally a face mask? This. Oh no. What? It's $100 for literally a shitty face mask. Oh, some self saying $50, but yeah. So yeah, Apple again are being price gouging horrible bastards by yeah, making a product that's pretty crap and charging an arm and a leg for it. Right, I'm getting rid of the anti-science person that thinks a bandana is as good as a proper respirator. Yeah, do that, Mike. But yeah, if somebody can't see the difference between a mask like this with a filter on it and a bandana, I don't think that works very well. And if somebody is, also denying that Corona exists, they're also not really smart. As I said, you can't tell me what to do. The bombs aren't real. Referring to that Blitz picture. I'm going to leave my lights on. Exactly, Templar. What I do with my mask is I've got one of my masks and I've redone the valves so air flows in and out through the filter on one of my half face masks. So that's the one I generally wear out now because it means it protects me and other people. Yeah, as you said, Henry. Yeah, they talk so much shit. Their asshole must be jealous. Yeah, where the I can't remember if it's in here or if I put it. I think I put it in my car, so it's in there for when I next go out. But yeah, I've showed it on stream, but I just got the JSP Force A because the intake valves on that are actually on the filters themselves, not the mask. I just ripped the valves out because if I buy new filters, it'll have valves on them anyway, so it's not like I'm damaging the mask. And then what I did is I just put something in front of the out valve so it blocks that valve from opening. So then the air will just go in and out through the filters. Some videos, Daniel, you see of hospitals, some of them have like 3M style masks on. But yeah, sadly, a lot of people working in the medical field are still massively under-equipped, aren't they, for Corona in terms of PPE? It's like a fiberglassy filter OK9, but yeah, you are correct there. It will make the filter run out faster because there's going to be moisture getting in and out of it. But yeah, like I said, thankfully it's like a fiberglassy type HEPA one. But well, anything damages the filter over time. But yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, somebody will design a mask that has an intake filter and an outtake filter, so you're constantly, Yeah, and the government didn't buy enough of it because, they're incompetent. There's also that. Yeah, thankfully in the UK, Joe Mama, we've not had a lot of like rioting shit yet, but I wouldn't rule it out, especially if there's a second wave and lockdowns near Christmas. I reckon some people get angry and Yeah, yet. Operative word yet. Right, anyway, I'm going to be off. Thanks to everybody that's been on, and thanks to Stug for donating. Yeah, it's been quite a good stream today. But as I said, later on I'll be cutting my hair. If Mike's on YouTube tonight doing a stream, I'll catch that. I couldn't catch him last night on Twitch if he was on, because I was out doing the night vision stuff. But yeah, I will not be on tonight, as I said. Will definitely not be streaming tomorrow. If I get time Sunday evening, I will stream, but I can't guarantee it. Depends how tired I am after being at work. But I'll definitely be streaming throughout the week as usual. But yeah. Yeah, I saw that Tony is saying, yeah, that they're rationing toilet roll because idiots are panic buying it again. But yeah, see you everybody. Have a good day. I'll be the same.